Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. I will read it in the King James Version, and then you can be seated. Here are the words in Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. God bless you. You may be seated again. The English Standard Version of this same verse says, I am very dark, but lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. The New Revised Standard Version in this verse is stated as thus, I am black and beautiful. O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. The Common English Bible's translation takes this verse in this approach. Dark am I and lovely, daughters of Jerusalem, like the black tents of Kedar nomads, like the curtains of Solomon's place. On last week, we defined beauty using from the thought the beauty of a black woman, and we said that beauty was the pleasure that comes to mind through the activity of one's sight, touch, taste, hearing, smelling, and perception. It's the pleasure that comes to mind when you see something that is pleasurable to your senses. That's beautiful. And it leads to the feelings of acceptance as happiness, enjoyment, fulfillment, and approval. And so on last Sunday, we talked about the beauty of a black woman. We went into depths and we said that there were two main overarching views of beauty. We have subjective beauty, which is your own independent personal opinion as to what you say is beautiful to you. But then there was a second area that was the objective view of beauty, and we stated that this was a combined and collective consensus opinion about what is and is not beautiful. And throughout the message, we noted that there were three characteristics of black beautiful women. We said that this is what makes a black woman beautiful. We said number one was her femininity. And we wanted everybody to understand that there is nothing wrong and nothing to be ashamed of if you are a woman. Nothing to be ashamed at being a woman. I don't need to be ashamed of your femininity. If you got it, show it. Praise God. And then we said the second thing about that was beautiful about the black woman was her true character. We start talking about being honest and trustworthy, kind, considerate, compassionate, outgoing, patient, and respectful, because no matter how beautiful you are, if we can't trust you, it ain't gonna work. And then thirdly, we talked about inner strength, that this is what makes a black woman beautiful, her inner strength, being overlooked, underpaid, raped, scarred, heartbroken, battered, looked at as less, yet maintaining dignity and class. And she is in a class all by herself. And this was the woman here in the Song of Solomon. This is the woman, the Shulamite woman in Solomon. And no matter what theologians try to say or historians try to manipulate words, the woman told everybody, I'm black. I think it's pretty clear here In any translation, she is black, she is dark, she is colored, and she is beautiful. She's not only beautiful, she knows she's beautiful. And as we continue to highlight this Black Excellence Month, particularly we are spotlighting black women all month long, it is necessary to deal with another subject that I mentioned in passing last week. And I believe we do need to go down this road because we have to not ignore the obvious. And I hear your voices through your head saying, what is he talking about? Well, today I want to talk about the body of a black woman. For those of you who can't take it, we'll change the subject for you to the physical features of a black woman. Praise the Lord. In the early 1800s, the Dutch controlled large parts of South Africa. An African woman by the name, who was given the name Sarah Baartman, Saartjie Baartman, was transported to England and displayed on stages because of the shape of her body. Sarah belonged to the Cocoa people, which the Dutch called the Hottentots, because they had difficulty understanding the language of that culture. And Sarah was given the nickname Hottentot Venus. Venus was the Roman goddess of love, and thus the owners combined the two pictures of what an African goddess of love would look like. She would look like Saartjie Sarah Baartman. She was exhibited, dehumanized in England and France for several years. They put her in a cage next to wild animals as a display for onlookers to look at her naked body. The body of this black woman was unique in that she had an enormous buttocks. And those who paid extra had the privilege to touch her buttocks. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy, but you ain't gonna hear this at Brandon. Sarah's body became the foundation for racist science, as her features were examined by so-called doctors and geneticists in search of a missing link between animals and humans. Sarah died in 1815. At the age of 26, died of an unknown disease. But in her death, before she died, they plaster molded her buttocks and put it in a museum. Her brain, her skeleton, her sexual organs were on display in Paris in a museum until 1974. Got y'all attention today, don't it? In 1994, President Nelson Mandela pleaded with the officials in Paris requesting the repatriation of Sarah's body and her remains to be brought back to South Africa through political maneuvering by the United States and others behind the scene. They were able to finally convince the French government that this atrocity must come to an end. It was not until 2002, March of 2002, that they finally sent her remains and her plastered buttocks to Eastern Cape, South Africa, to be buried with what little respect and dignity that could be mustered. Some would say, Pastor Harvey, why are we going through this? Why is it every Black History Month you pull out these things? We need to be shouting and dancing and speaking in tongues and running. That's the place for all of that. And we do that. But when are we going to talk about the real issues that Black people have to deal with in this country? If we don't do it here, it's not going to be done anywhere else. And even in that, there are those who say, well, we shouldn't be talking about bodies in the church, Pastor Harvey. This ain't biblical. Well, the subject of bodies is all through the Bible. Why was Satan in the book of Jude trying to fight for the body of Moses? If bodies are not important, why was the devil so serious about trying to get Moses' body to the point to where the Michael the archangel said, the Lord got to rebuke you? Because they were contending over a body. If bodies are not important, why did Joseph tell his people, do not leave me in Egypt when you all leave? I want you to get my body out of here. Carry me into the promised land. And Joseph could have been buried with one of the pharaohs, or at least possibly had one of those enshrined tombs where we have discovered billions of treasures in those tombs today. He said, that's not what I want. I would prefer to have my body where my people are. If bodies are not so important, and I hear you saying, Reverend, that's fine and good, but what about the body of Jesus? Why did the religious leaders lie and say the disciples stole his body if bodies was not important? If bodies were not so important that don't need to be talked about in the church, then we need to take 1 Corinthians 15 completely out of the Bible, because Paul there starts talking about bodies, and he says, some say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come? He said, you are a fool if you think that it's not sown to be resurrected again. God giveth it a body as it pleaseth him. All flesh is not the same flesh. All the flesh of one man, the flesh of a beast, the flesh of a fish, the flesh of a bird, and there are celestial bodies and there are terrestrial bodies. And he makes it plain when he says there is a glory of the sun, the glory of the moon, the glory of stars, and another star has another glory. So is also the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption and raised in incorruption. Sown in dishonor, raised in glory, sown in weakness, raised in power. It is sown a natural body and raised a spiritual body. He closes by saying there is a natural body and a spiritual body. But prior to this chapter, the same apostle clearly outlines that the body is important because he says your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. Meaning God dwells within your body. The bodies are clearly important because from Genesis to Revelation, we are highlighting bodies, and it shows up in unusual places. And no matter what you think about anybody else's body, your body is important too. In fact, bodies are so important until people spend millions of dollars working on their bodies. People take medication trying to have a nice body. People get surgery trying to get a tight body, go without food and diet and perform yoga, following a weight loss plan in efforts to get the kind of body that they want. All of this is fine and good, but let me be clear here today that the underlying reason why people are going through all of these changes because of their body is because folks identify you by your body. People make judgments of you by your body. In fact, when we dive deeper into this, it is your identity. So in essence, we're talking about your body. It helps others to identify who you are, but it's not just in identity. When we're talking about identity, we're talking about appearance. So when we talk about a body, we're talking about the way you appear to others. Pastor Harvey, this subject is one that is deep because we don't like how we look. That's why we put in them other contact colored eyes. We don't like how we really look. That's why we do all kinds of maneuvers with our hair. We don't like how we look. That's why we have toupees and get hair loss surgery to bring back our hair. We don't like how we really look. That's why we spend so much money trying to look different than who we are. And at the core, people want to be identified as having an appearance that's pleasantly acceptable to others. But before I digress into other areas, let me just deal specifically today, since I have your attention, about the epitome and the body of a black woman. Can I talk for a minute about it? Serena Williams, arguably the best female tennis player of all time, has been insulted, diminished, and disrespected ever since she started playing the sport. Recently, a New York Times article described her body as muscular, questioning her femininity, to the point where they're saying she might be a man. And had surgery to become a woman. A recent picture of Serena being held by her white husband on the beach drew criticism as people compared her to a baboon, a whale, and a freak of nature. Other comments said, pray for that man trying to hold that big old monkey. I know y'all don't like Black history, but I'm going to stick with it. Why? Why should Serena have to go through this? Because she is unashamed of her body. The body of a black woman is intimidating to some because, let me just put it like this, it's fully developed. Praise the Lord, everybody. But I submit that there is far more to a black woman than the exterior of her fully developed curves. The interior is what gives her her unique distinction. Maya Angelou captures this in her poem that was read on last Sunday, The Phenomenal Woman. Maya in her poem says that this person, this black woman, is reaching with her arms. Obviously, Maya is not talking necessarily about physical. She's talking about extending beyond what she can touch with her hands. It's a philosophical point in that the black woman has always had her hands stretched out to others. Maya said the span of her hips make her phenomenal, not just because she's fine, but she carries more than her shape. She is carrying with her her mother, y'all don't hear me, her grandmother and others in her lineage. No matter how, man, you say you love somebody, how bad you say, this man loves me. If he don't love your mama, cut that Negro off. It's getting hot in here now. Because you are a product of your mother. And I caution these single mothers with these young children, quit bringing all these men around your child. You don't know who he really looking at. Don't hang up on me. I'm headed somewhere. Maya says it is in the stride of her steps, meaning she's walking in areas that others dare not to go. She walks where the hurting are, where the forgotten are, where the abandoned are. Maya says it's the curl of her lips. This is more than just eroticism and kissing. This is to open and to speak truth to power and convey wisdom in areas where others have purposely remained silent. Oh, God, I wish I had time to deal with this. Because when a woman, a black woman, knows how to talk, she can calm matters down. We don't all have to be the angry black woman. We need some patient black women. Wisdom builds her house, but the foolish Maya says it's the fire of her eyes. This is more than the blaze of attraction, because I was studying the other day the laws of attraction, and everybody has different things that attract them to women, and obviously black women have a lot to be attracted to, but it's not the blaze of attraction, it's the vision of seeing a brighter future for her children. At some point, you got to come out the club and say, baby, I'm finna raise my children. It ain't my grandmama's responsibility to raise my baby. That's my job. It ought to have been more amen than what I got. Ain't nothing no worse than you to keep having baby after baby after baby and ain't raised the first one yet. I know it. I'm going to leave it alone. She says it's the flash in her teeth. This is more than molars and grinders. It is a smile that is piercing through the pain to greet everyone with the joy of the Lord and with charity. Would to God we had some women that knew how to smile. Let's practice it. Look at somebody smile. Hit me. Let me see. That's, oh God, we got to start over. We're going to have to start over. That smile ain't going to make it far. That's not going to get it. That's not going to get it. It's not going to get it. Work on it. We'll try it again next Sunday. I don't know. Maya said it's a swing. It's the swing in her waist. And since there ain't nobody here but us, can we just be honest today? I know y'all ain't gonna tell nobody. I thought y'all weren't gonna tell nobody. Are y'all gonna tell somebody what I'm finna say? I gotta call it out, y'all. I mean, I'm here to tell it. Y'all know we be looking at other women's behinds. Because you do too. Can I get a witness, man? Thank y'all. I'm glad y'all didn't leave me hanging. We all do. You do too. So let's just get that off your mind. It's there. You do the same thing. The swing in her waist. See, I lost half of y'all. I much rather my son look at a woman behind than a man behind. Help me, Jesus. See, that's what I'm saying. We still playing. You got to get for real with this thing. If we ain't gonna deal with what it is, then we might well cancel Black History. The swing in her waist. That's what Maya said. It is not intended to seduce or inordinate affection, but rather to highlight the true person that she really is. You are who you are. And you have nothing to be ashamed about. Maya is saying the person that she is shows up in the ark in her back. This is a hard-working woman. This is not somebody who's sitting up eating Oreo cookies and milk. The worst thing in the world any man could ever do is marry a lazy, can't clean, can't. I didn't say cook, you said it. I said clean, they said cook. Can't cook according to them, and just plain nasty. Maya says, these things make the woman phenomenal, the black woman phenomenal, the ride of her breasts. You start reading these narratives, some of the same Ku Klux Klan folks were sucking the breasts of black women. The grace of her style, the elegance of how she carries herself in pressure-packed situations. Anybody can look good while things is going well. But can you hold it together when all hell is breaking loose? Strong woman knows how to stay strong even when everything around her is falling apart. You can't let everybody see you cry. I didn't say don't cry. You need to cry. You got to cry. You ain't going to make it through this life without crying sometime. But you can't let everybody see you cry. It's the click of her heels, the bend of her hair, palm of her hand, the need of her care. The black woman that Maya is talking about is a phenomenal woman, and this type of woman has beauty in three places. Can I give you quickly the three areas that a black woman is beautiful and the black woman's body is different from everybody else's body? If I had enough time, I would give you 7, but I'm just going to give you 3 real quickly. It starts with the heartbeat. I know we want to work on the outside, but I'm going to work on the inside. It starts with the heartbeat. Every black woman in here that has ever had a baby, the baby got his rhythm from your heartbeat. Woo, help me preach up in here. The rhythm of every black person was embedded within them before they even were born. It was the beat of their mother's heart that they heard over and over and over again. And therefore, when they come out of the womb, they already have stamina, already know how to dance, already have the moves, because the rhythm has been a part of their bloodline from the beginning to where they are today. We got dancers because of the rhythm, the heartbeat of a mother. Black woman. Body strong, and that heart had to beat even when it was broken. That heart had to beat even when it was betrayed. That heart had to beat even when it was carrying a baby that she didn't want. She was raped and found out later. Y'all don't hear me. But it kept on beating. The rhythm inside of that beat is what makes the body of a black woman unique and different from any other woman. I know every woman's heart's gonna beat, but it's different from this woman, because this woman had to go through something with that heart still beating, not having enough, not having any, and then not even knowing if I'm gonna live to see tomorrow is enough to make somebody give up and die. But that heart kept beating anyway. There's gonna be a better day. That's a feature of a a black woman that you don't find anywhere else. The second part of the body that I think needs to be highlighted of a black woman is the body part that's called the mind. I know we want to talk about lips, hips, and fingertips, but let me just break it down to you. It's what's going on in the mind that makes them lips, hips, and fingertips feel like they do. If you can't talk like you got any sense, or if all you know is ghetto slang, it's time and place for all that. Don't get me wrong. We enjoy being ourselves and enjoy some slang and ebonics every now and then. But exhibit your intelligence every now and then. Carry on the conversation. Look at somebody say, ask them, can you talk? About more than your weave and stuff. Can we talk about more than that baby daddy? Can we talk about something else? Can we really have an intelligent conversation about what is happening in the world? Mind of a black woman body part is essential, and every man needs to know that you're going to have somebody who understands you. Oh, don't hang up on me now. I know this ain't marriage counseling, but if she don't understand you, y'all gonna have a rocky road, baby. Y'all gonna have a rocky road because you halfway crazy, she halfway crazy. But as long as she got a mind to try to understand what's really going on in your mind, because you don't talk. Hello, men. We don't talk. But the mind of a black woman can read your thoughts. That's why you're still married. Because she was able to understand what you weren't saying. Oh, y'all don't like this kind of preaching. You couldn't talk. You couldn't even share it. You didn't even want to talk about it. And she just said, I understand. The mind of a black woman is a unique thing because it has to be able to read minds and use judgment as concerning the place and the person that she's with. So we have the body features of the heart. We have the body features of the mind. But more important, and I think this stands out stronger than any other. It's the body feature of her spirit. And I know theologically, amen, the world and theologians have divided the spirit and body and say these two are not the same. Technically, that is true. But when God breathed into man, the breath of life, he became a living soul. The spirit of a black woman is in every fiber of her body. It's that touch that calms a child down. Says it's going to be all right, baby. It's that hand that's laid on the head when the fever's at 103 and said, baby, I'm praying. We are trusting God and we are believing you're going to be okay. It's the hand that will hold her husband up when he's been battered and badgered by a world that will never accept who he is. It's also the hand that will walk with her father, should down that aisle and be given to another young man. Say, I didn't raise her for you to whoop her. It's been a long time since I whooped somebody. But you'll make me come out of retirement if you ever put your hands on her. See, these things need to be said up front. Now I hear you saying, Reverend Harvey, this is not a Black History message. I don't know what it is, but it is not. And Solomon makes it plain. The Shulamite woman, she said, I'm black, and then she goes into detail. I wish I had time. Can I take my time and just deal with a little bit more of this? I know y'all got to go. We got to get out of here. But she's black, and she's beautiful, and she knows it, and then she says some stuff that really stands out. She says some stuff that I believe we need to be aware of. She starts talking about her dove eyes. She starts talking about how precious her hair is to her. She starts talking about her cheekbones. She starts talking about the curves of her body. She starts talking about even what's going to happen when they are alone. Talks about the fruit and the sweetness of her lips. The body, y'all looking crazy. The body of a black woman by all men should be cherished and not treated like an object, but as a subject. An unexplored territory that has not been touched by another man.